Hey everyone, Chris here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about what to do when you feel hopeless or helpless and how to move past this. Now this is a very serious topic, and I think it is something that comes at the right occasion, especially because it was Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month, for the month of June, there is a continuation on mental health awareness, but specifically in men. Now, the way I'm going to break down this video is I'm going to be going through the side effects of what happens when people feel hopeless or helpless and the solutions, so people can feel empowered. So, when it comes to side effects, there are a couple of things to keep in mind, and I decided to write them down as well. So, if one is feeling a lot of rumination, that is a side effect of feeling hopeless or helpless. When someone keeps on thinking about a traumatic event that has happened in their life, that is an example. Another is feeling a lack of connection when it comes to oneself. So, if someone unfortunately goes through an extremely catastrophic, or if they've witnessed rather a catastrophic event, such as a major earthquake or something traumatic, a lot of people may experience a disconnection from their body. So, it is almost like they feel like they're witnessing everything that's going on, even though they themselves are moving their body. They are the one that is walking or talking and things of that nature. And that could be a very scary experience. Additionally, as well, there are some things that people feel is they feel sad, right? They have an internalized emotion. And when it comes to hopelessness or helplessness, a lot of people tend to feel shame and guilt, especially toxic shame, where someone feels like they are not worthy, unfortunately, of the best, or they feel like they're not capable, or they feel like they don't deserve something anymore. And that is something that is very, very saddening, and it often attributes to people feeling that way, people feeling that state of hopelessness. Additionally, as well, when people feel extremely sad, frustrated, and angry after a situation and they cannot stop thinking about it, that is a sign that, a person has gone through a really challenging event. And oftentimes, anger is really deep sadness that hasn't really been expressed, or it has been expressed, but it's been shunned down. It has been invalidated by people that, really, really loved them, right? Oftentimes when we get our feelings shut down by someone that we really care about, it could feel mentally crippling at times, right? And oftentimes people tend to question themselves. They tend to question their reality. They tend to question their sense of self and who they are. And that could be very, very dangerous, and it could be very damaging. Additionally, some people that go through really traumatic events can feel cold sweats and symptoms of PTSD. So they may wake up in the middle of the night, feeling shocked. They may wake up sweating even though it's not hot. They may wake up trembling and in a state of panic. They may have an anxiety attack, a panic attack. And these are all things that could feel very, very dismantling, and it could feel very hard for someone. And if you have went through this, or if you're going through this right now currently, I sincerely empathize with you, and I want you to know that there is a way out. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and that you are able to overcome this. And in a couple of minutes, I will show you how. Another thing that some people may experience is haziness in their head. They may experience brain fog. And when it comes to extreme trauma, some people may even experience memory loss, temporary memory loss. So like, for example, they may start something, right? And halfway in between doing it, they may go to something else, right? Like an example might be like someone leaves the kitchen, or rather the bathroom sink, running while they're brushing their teeth, and they're trying to find something else in their house, let's say in their bedroom, and next thing you know, they're on to something completely different, and they forget that the kitchen, or rather the bathroom sink, is running in the first place. That could just be an example. It could be misplacing your keys, leaving an Uber, or rather leaving your phone in an Uber, right? For a certain amount of times in a row, like being a little bit more careless, right? And the thing is one is not being careless intentionally, but rather there's so much going on in their mind that they are not present. Another symptom may be what some may call attention deficit disorder like symptoms, ADD like symptoms, right? So, people may not be able to be in the present moment, right? Like, let's say if someone is doing something and next thing you know, they're thinking about their pain, they're thinking about what it is that they went through and the challenges that they went through, and how difficult it was, and they keep on replaying the situation over and over and over and over again in their head, trying to make sense of it. Oftentimes you'll realize that if you went through this, you may realize, like, you may cope by going on your phone, by unfortunately doing something else that may be a negative addiction, right? It could be binge eating, it could be procrastinating, it could be doing anything you could think of to escape, and that could be very difficult. The next is having a genuine fear, like a deep-rooted fear or concern that a situation like this may happen to you again, where you feel hopeless or helpless. And that could be, a very hard and challenging situation. However, please know, and I will talk about this later on, but also in another video as well, there are steps and preventive measures that you could take in order to ensure that you never feel in a state of hopelessness or helplessness ever again. Finally, in regards to side effects, you may feel discomfort in different areas of your body, right? And oftentimes when one goes through a very traumatic event, it's not just a memory being stored in your mind. It's, if one does not process it, like, your body literally stores emotions. Like, your body literally stores traumatic experiences. And if your body does not feel safe enough to release how you feel, you may feel sensations in different parts of your body. I'll give you an example. An example may be your chest, right? You may feel tension in your chest. You may feel like your chest hurts, that your heart aches. You may feel tension in your shoulders, in your neck. You may feel tension in your stomach or in your spine. You may feel a tingling sensation, or you may literally feel heavy, like actually heavy. And this is like a way for your body to communicate and say to you, hey, there is something wrong. There's something that needs extra attention. Like, your body is telling you, like, hey, I'm not feeling well and I need to solve this. which allows me to then perfectly transition to the solution part. Right? What can you do in order for you to become better? In order for you to go from hopeless to hopeful, from helpless to helpful, to being able to help yourself and also helping others. So the first thing is to feel. Now, I know this sounds cliche and I know this sounds so simple, but if you want to move past this situation, no matter how hard it is very, very important that you find a safe space in order for you to feel deeply what happened, right? Because when you're able to feel something, no matter how difficult it is, when you feel something, you can push it. When you feel a pain, you could push past that pain. You can overcome it. You can rise above it, right? Because this is the thing. Oftentimes people say, hey, when it comes to an uncomfortable situation, maybe it might be best to avoid thinking about a situation altogether. Maybe it might just be best to ignore it. Maybe I'll just distract myself. Maybe I'll just go to the gym. Maybe I'll just go and take a trip. Maybe I'll just go and work extra hours at the office. Now, all of those things may be, a lot more positive mechanisms instead of unfortunately, negative mechanisms out there like drinking and binge drinking and things of that nature. But you need to also tell yourself hey, there's only a certain extent up until, basically you cannot keep on running from yourself. Now, a lot of people may say hey, Chris, it's worked for me so far. It's been effective. That's how I coped with my life. That's how I coped with, someone may say that's how they coped with childhood trauma. But if you want to find something that is long-term, if you want to find a solution to eradicate, the feelings that you've went through for good, instead of learning just how to deal with your emotions and your behaviors and everything up until a certain point, feeling is absolutely necessary. And it could be very hard, but trust me when I say it's worth it. Now, how can you feel? What are some examples that you could do? Right? So number one, I would say the first thing is to take incredibly small baby steps, right? It's not easy to feel compared to, people just saying oh, just go through it. Everything is going to be okay, or just get over it, right? Trust me, it's not that simple. And, it could feel irritating when people may mean well, but they dismiss how you feel. I would say this: start incredibly small. An example of starting incredibly small is by saying to yourself, hey, as soon as I wake up, I'm going to think about 5 things that I'm grateful for. Create a morning routine. Make it work for you. Make it make sense for you. And after, you could say to yourself, hey, I want to journal about something that happened that was really, 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 hurtful. And you could say, hey, I'm going to dedicate 15 minutes to it, or 30 minutes to it, or 10 minutes if you feel like 15 or 30 is overwhelming. And what I would suggest is afterwards, take the time to let go after you write about something emotional. So that could be something as simple such as doing push-ups, going for a walk outside, something to ground you, something to make you unwind. That's something that's so important. The next thing is reflect on times that you overcame a situation. Reflect on times that you overcame challenges. Literally. Take the time to write out in vivid details a stressful moment or a challenging time, it could be in regards to a work project, it could be a personal project, it could be in a relationship, reflect upon a time that you thought that there was no solution to this, or you felt very overwhelmed by what would be the outcome of the situation. But, write down how you were able to make things work. Write down how things panned out. So think of it almost as a success guide. Think of it as a confidence booster. Think of it as a hype up book where you write down everything that you've gone through and you talk about how you overcame it. The next thing is talk, and this is a very important one, but it's also a very sensitive one. Talk to a family member or a friend that you trust about what happened. Now, this could be very hard because sometimes, depending on the situation, your family members may not understand you at all. In fact, they may dismiss how you feel, and they may even accuse you of saying like, hey, what you experienced is not real. They may invalidate your experience. They may even gaslight you. And oftentimes it's out of ignorance and them not knowing. And it's very sad, but it's difficult nonetheless. And you may even realize too that you may have some friends that you think are very, very close, but you realize that they may not have the emotional bandwidth or space to really hold what you're trying to say to them. And that's okay, because everybody is at different points in their life. Some people are more empathetic than others. Some people are able to really hear and, lend an ear to listen when things are really tough. And there's some people that are not able to take that, just level of deep information. But take the time to talk with someone you trust. That could be, as mentioned, a friend, a family member, someone that you consider to be family, right? Oftentimes we have amazing people in our life that we consider to be family that are not related by blood at all. And if none of those don't work, or if you want someone that is a licensed professional and if you have the means to do it, I would highly suggest looking into therapy, right?